Summer is officially here, and there's no better time to head outdoors, bask in the sunshine, and take advantage of Winnipeg's many beautiful parks. Every Sunday at noon throughout the summer, the Leo Moll Sculpture Garden in Assiniboine Park becomes a serene stage for live jazz. Surrounded by bronze masterpieces and lush greenery, audiences are treated to performances by everyone from jazz vocalists, pianists, to members of the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra. This Sunday, June 13th at noon, pianist Danny Carroll takes the spotlight. Whether he's playing jazz standards, his own neoclassical compositions, or accompanying musical theater, Danny brings versatility and style to the keys. It's the perfect opportunity to soak up the sun and some stellar live jazz in one of the city's most scenic settings. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio, I am joined by Danny Carroll. Hi, Danny. Great to meet you and have you here.
Chris, nice to be here. Yeah, it's great.
So before we get to the concert on Sunday, I have to ask, when I hear your name, I think, rightly or wrongly, of musical theater. And in fact, in 2014, you were inducted into the Rainbow Stage Hall of Fame, or Wall of Fame, I should say. Mm-hmm. How did you get started accompanying musical theater and rehearsing with singers? And and can you talk about that part of your career a bit?
Yeah, well, actually doing like musical theater excerpts goes back to my days at the Hollow Mug Dinner Theater, which was at the International Inn by the airport. So that's going back a while. And, Neil Harris worked a lot of shows there. He was the music director and stuff. And I got hired in with Monty Levine. It was Monty's gig. And he hired me in as piano. And it was really cool because we would do like a whole, had a grand piano there, and we would do a set of jazz, like, the first set. And then we would do mini musicals. So we do about 40, 45 minutes, like excerpts and things, and singing and dancing and the whole bit, So I was learning musical theater stuff, and then we would do dance music, and it was great. It was a quartet, and it was a great learning thing, and it was so much fun.
And then you just got into the scene and started doing it that way.
Yeah. So then after that, it was a lot later. My first when I got involved with Rainbow Stage was in 93. And it was, they were doing Fiddler. They were remounting Fiddler. They had just kind of closed down the year before, and they were trying to get it open again. And I subbed in for the rehearsals. And then 2 of the nights I subbed in also for the shows. And that was my first real experience with this and that. This is really cool because this is such bigger production and everything like that. Yeah. But my first night in the pit, my very first night, was the night of, I don't know if you remember the Great Flood.
Oh yeah, 97.
Nope, 93.
Well, okay.
93. Oh, the Winnipeg flood. Yeah. This was the Rainbow Stage flood.
Oh, okay.
Yes, where the water was pouring down the steps into the pit. Bob McMullen's conducting, right? And we're saying, Bob.
Yeah.
Like there's water in here,
Yeah.
We've got lights, we've got amps, we've got stands.
Yeah, of course.
Bob says, "Oh, it's fine, you'll be fine," And it, Bob, there's water. Finally, they stopped the show and moved us out of the pit and stuck us up on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I still remember at the a little while later, Sam Latvia was the drummer. He was big, powerful, like presence in Rainbow Stage, and he was just a great guy. And he says, they didn't take my timpanis out. My timpanis are floating in there. My $10,000 timpanis, So they got the timpanis out, and we carried on with the show. That was my first show ever at Rainbow Stage. It got better weather-wise.
And then the other fun fact about you is that you were a student at the University of Manitoba, where you were a student of Robert Turner. Mm-hmm. What was it like? I've never met him. What was it like studying with him? And can you talk about him as a person?
Yeah, he was like a very quiet guy, and he was very funny. But you had to listen closely, But he had lots of quips and lots of little stories and things. And I came in. I was doing some legit composition, music composition and stuff and all that. It was really cool. And I'd bring in the odd jazz tune. And he had written, and I found out he had written these jazz tunes and he had written like a lot of scores for CBC and that, and with jazz stuff. So I actually brought him in. I was hosting a jazz radio show at CJUM on Sunday afternoons. So I brought him in and played, the stuff's on reel to reel and that. Yeah. And we sat and had a great time, just chatting about that. But what I learned from him was he said, you've got good ideas, but pay attention to the details. It was the details. He would just come and say, maybe, what if you tried this little or this little, these little things. So that was a huge pickup for me, to carry through with anything I do now. Yeah.
And it's certainly paid off. I mean, you've done tons of theater and sound design work for all the theaters here in Winnipeg, Royal Manitoba Theatre Centre, Prairie Theatre Exchange, Winnipeg Jewish Theatre, MTYP. What itch does creating sound design scratch for you as a composer?
Oh, well, it pulls you out of the preparing and reproducing other music and into the world of creating your own music in coordination with whatever is going on with the show, the theater, the theme. But you've got some open rein to do some things. And for me, it was like just getting into sounds, and sculpturing the sounds and writing tunes. I wrote quite a few. There was one show that we did, It's a Wonderful Life, a radio play. It was based on the movie. And we actually did it twice. The last time was 2018. And the actors are in front with their scripts, like it's a 1948 radio station.
Right.
Was the set. And we had a Foley artist, John Zalski was a Foley artist, making all the real-time sounds of footsteps and babies crying and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was in the corner with a Heinzmann upright grand and a B3 so that I could do a dun, 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 on the B3, and I was writing all these tunes. But it was a radio program, so we had commercials. So I wrote these tunes, and we sang them in 4-part harmony for local businesses. My favorite was the Sal's Big Nip. Big nip, I want a big nip. I tried to sell it to them, but they weren't interested. But that was, and it was just doing, every show was completely different.
Yeah.
There was the best part for me was reading the script the first time, because things just start pouring out and you just start jotting down ideas in this. And then sculpture. And then, of course, you're working with the director very, very closely. And no, Danny, we can't do that here.
Yeah.
That isn't, no, we can't. Okay, mellow this out and do this. And, you're sculpturing.
Yeah.
You're creating.
And it's done live night to night, right?
No.
Okay.
No, very few were done live.
Okay.
It was usually all pre-recorded.
Pre-recorded, yeah.
And so, which was great because, I was into the computers and the software and all that stuff I'm into. And so I would be able to build up tracks and then you work with the actual sound person at the theater, and then you set up like the atmosphere in the studio. Like I remember at Prairie Theater, what was the show last? I can't remember the name of the show. And we set up 7 speakers up in the loft area, and so you could direct things out of here and out of there, depending on what was going on in the action and where. And that I find fascinating. It's just so much fun to do that kind of thing. The tricky part is always balancing that levels with the actors.
With what's going on stage, yeah.
Yeah.
So you are performing on Sunday at noon at the Leo Moll Sculpture Garden. Is it going to be just you at the piano, or is anybody going to be joining you?
No, it's a duo. This one's a duo. And Ruslan Rusin is playing bass. And we've done a number of gigs together. He's a great player. He'll have his stand-up bass there and that. And,
what advantage does playing with bass give you as a pianist?
Oh, it frees me up. It frees me up. So in the left hand, I can do more like chordal things and worry about and you've got the steadiness of the outlining, the harmonies and that. Yeah, and he's a great improviser too. And so it's just really fun because you never know quite where you're going to go, right? Sometimes in jazz you have a sense, but it's like, oh, we're going to go here now, and that. So it's lots of fun. So I'm looking forward to that, playing with him.
Mm-hmm. How did you get this gig? Did you reach out to Assiniboine Park, or did Assiniboine Park reach out to you?
Well, it was actually through, like, I'm a member of Manitoba Music, and they have a lot of networking things, and it was about a year or more ago, and I was at one and met Kelsey, who is, she was with Birthday Cake, and we were talking about kind of stuff, and then she mentioned, I told her I do jazz. She says, oh, well, I book like this and this and this, and I said, oh, can I send you some stuff? And she said, absolutely. So I sent her some stuff, and we got a gig. I'm just very excited. I'm very grateful because outdoor gigs are fun if it's nice out.
Yeah. and the bugs aren't too bad.
And the bugs aren't too bad. But it's also just it's a beautiful atmosphere, like you mentioned. It's very, very shaded.
Yeah.
So even if it's hot, people don't have to really worry as much because there's some cooling shade there, and of course there's a little pool, pond in the middle of it, and that. And just to be in the midst of the Leo Moll creative energy in that whole place, like these beautiful bronze sculptures are amazing. So and we're going to play some tunes. I'm going to do a bunch of standards, kind of things, some Duke Ellington and that.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking, with your experience in musical theater, it'd be no problem for you to just do a bunch of Broadway tunes and turn them into jazz tunes and then go to town. But you're going to be playing standards.
Yeah, I'm going to do mainly some standards. A Train, All of Me, tunes I love. It's Only Paper Moon. Summertime, you got to do summertime. But I'm going to also do some of my own originals.
I was going to ask about those.
I'm doing one tune from my album. You mentioned like neoclassical. My album, Keys for Transformation, is a neoclassical album. So that was like grand piano and string trio, and we also had a bass on certain parts and some gentle electronics. So it's much more chill. So I'm going to do a tune that I created a company called Sounds of the Heart when I was doing the album. And one of the tunes on the album is a piano solo, Sounds of the Heart, and I'm going to play that one. But I've got some other ones, like some jazz ones. Chippewa. Chippewa is, I'm from Thunder Bay, my hometown, in Chippewa Park, and I grew up there. And this is like a little bluesy tune. I'm doing actually one from It's a Wonderful Life, the Charleston, that was in the dance thing, because it's fun. These are fun things, and a couple of other ones. But we're just going to really have fun, try to get some variety, because there's going to be a huge variety of crowds. Yeah, right. Of the demographic and that.
And are you going to be just playing piano, or are you going to bring a synth as well to do some synth patch stuff?
Well, I'm going to have some like electronic piano sounds and a little honky-tonk piano thing, and just some organ, a little tiny bit here and there. But yeah, it's not going to be just the piano sounds, but it'll be mainly the piano sounds. But we'll see what happens. Yeah,
absolutely. This has been really great. I'm going to ask a question for you. What are you looking forward to most about Sunday?
I think it's with the connecting with the energy of the people, because every group of people that gathers brings its own kind of energy to a situation. And so, I try to attune to that and go off of that and say, oh, okay, we're gonna do this. This will work. Or okay, we're skipping this one. And we're going to that, because I watch the reactions. I see, and you see some feet tapping there. By some 125-year-old people. That's great. Do some more of that. But no, it's providing some variety and trying to it's a really fun, enjoyable experience for people. This is not like going into a jazz club and where you might not play some of these tunes like I love playing Sesame Street for kids. This
Yeah.
bluesy Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly the parents that recognize it. But it's just So I'm looking forward to that and playing with Ruslan, outside
fantastic.
and seeing what we do.
Danny, this has been a real treat to finally meet you and talk to you. All the best on Sunday. I hope you stay cool and the show is super well attended. It sounds like a great way to enjoy the weather. Thanks so much for taking the time to stop by and talk to me today.
Thank you, Chris. My pleasure.
For our Classic 107 listeners, Danny Carroll and bassist Ruslan perform this Sunday, July 13th at Leo Moll Sculpture Garden at Assiniboine Park. The concert is free, so why not take in some jazz while enjoying the outdoors and perhaps an ice cream cone. For more details, visit assiniboinepark.ca or go to classic107.com. I've embedded a direct link to the show page in the article about the concert that you can find up on the website now. Danny, thanks again.
Thank you.